Hello again, everyone. In this part of our lecture, we are going to talk about production and costs in the long run, and this is our study plan. First of all, we'll have to analyze the difference between short and long run and how exactly production in the long run is determined by the scale economy. We'll talk about what is the economy of scale, what is diseconomy of scale, what are the sources of both, and how exactly they affect cost of production in the long run. We'll learn how cost curves in the long run look like. We'll try to figure out how to construct the long run average cost curve as an envelope of a number of different short run average cost curves. And we'll also analyze alternative shapes of long run average cost curves and how exactly they're related to the scale economy. So this is our plan. Let's proceed. Short run in economics is a period of time when at least one factor of production is fixed. Usually this is a capital. And in the short run, production is governed by the law of diminishing returns, which tells us that the more of variable factor we add to the production process, the more we are trying to produce, we will reach a point beyond which each additional worker will add less and less to the production process. Each additional worker will generate less and less of additional output. In other words, in the short run, there are limits to our production. Unless we add more capital to the production process, we will not be able to expand our output indefinitely during a period of time when at least one factor is fixed, when we are stuck with a certain amount of capital. Eventually, we'll need to add both. Long run is a period of time which is sufficient to vary all factors of production. There are no fixed costs in the long run because there are no fixed factors of production. All factors are variable, and in the long run, production is governed by the economy of scale. And scale economy is one of the reasons why firms decide to expand, simply because it becomes cheaper to produce their products. Economy of scale is simply a situation when higher level of output leads to lower costs per unit, lower long-run average costs. In other words, the long-run average cost curve is downward sloping. Let's have a look. We will plot a quantity of output along horizontal axis and costs of production per unit, costs per unit along vertical axis. Let's imagine that we produce on a small scale, let's say 10 units of output. It might cost us, let's say, £100 per each unit. If we increase production to, let's say, 1,000 units, our costs will drop, let's say, to £40. And if we produce on a very large scale, like, let's say, 1 million items, it might cost us, let's say, £10 per each item. In other words, if we combine these points together, long-run average cost curve will be downward sloping. The more we produce, the cheaper it becomes per unit. Think IKEA. IKEA is a very good example of a company which benefits from scale economy. If you want to start producing furniture, you would probably operate on a relatively small scale. You can start making, let's say, desks in your own workshop. How much would it cost you per unit? Because you are operating on a small scale, you will be placing relatively small orders. You will be buying materials probably not from the cheapest suppliers. You will not be able to enjoy bulk discounts. You will not be able to purchase some specialized machinery, and as a result, your costs per unit are likely to be relatively high. While IKEA, which produces millions and millions of these desks per day, probably, or per week, is likely to have automated production line with specialized equipment. It's likely to start placing bulk orders and getting bulk discounts. It can enjoy financial economies because it's likely to access finance on better terms. And as a result, their costs of production per each unit are likely to be lower. So scale economy or economy of scale is a situation when increase in the scale of production leads to lower long-run average cost per unit. What are the sources of scale economy? I've mentioned a few already. So first of all, you can enjoy more skilled labor force. When you are a company like IKEA, you are likely to hire specialist workforce, specialist labor who are able to do particular operations, particular tasks much more effectively. If you are operating on a small scale, if you produce very few items, you probably won't be able to enjoy specialization as much. Companies which operate on a larger scale might benefit from developed infrastructure or expertise of supporting industries or government support, etc. Apart from this, the company might also benefit from some scale economy arising from internal sources, and we'll mention some of it already. For example, specialization and division of labor. The greater the company is, the bigger it is, the more output it produces, the more it is able to specialize, the more it is able to train its workforce, to teach them to do specific tasks in the most efficient way, which will reduce the costs of production. Smaller company probably won't be able to enjoy this specialization. Apart from this, larger company might also benefit from more advanced technology and greater efficiency of larger machines, so-called technical economy. If you're a company like IKEA, you are likely to have specialized automated lines producing a particular type of output, desks or wardrobes or chairs or something else. If you're a small company, probably you won't be able to afford these specialized machines, or it wouldn't be cost effective for you. You wouldn't be able to justify these costs of buying your machines because they won't pay for themselves. You are not producing so much output to be able to cover the costs of buying this technology and getting some profit on top. Apart from this, you can also benefit from producing some additional byproducts. For example, if your production process generates a lot of sawdust, you might be able to sell it to manufacturers of OSB boards, which are produced using these sawdust and these offcuts of timber. You can benefit from so-called economy of scope, situation when two products can be produced together cheaper than producing them separately. You can sell these byproducts and get additional revenue from this. Large firms can also get finance on more favorable terms, so-called financial economy. If you're a larger organization producing lots of output, you might be able to get access to finance, to borrowing, to business loans on better terms, which will reduce your financial costs and reduce average costs per unit. Smaller companies might not be able to benefit from this. Their costs are likely to be higher. And of course, what I've mentioned already, if you're a large organization placing larger orders, you will be able to get your materials cheaper because you will get bulk discounts, purchasing economy. Moreover, if you're a large company producing lots of output, your management, marketing, and admin processes might be more efficient, so-called organization and admin economy. You can benefit from research and development savings, etc. In other words, the larger your company is, the larger is your scale of operation, the cheaper it might be to produce your output per unit because your fixed costs are spread across a larger number of items, and as a result, the average cost per unit declines. A question which you might get in the exam on this particular topic can sound like that. Economies of scale can be defined as a large-scale production leading to. Stop the video, select the correct answer, and continue when you are ready. Ready? The correct answer here would be B, lower cost per unit of production. Large-scale production does not necessarily lead to bigger profits because profit depends not only on your costs but also on revenues as well. And we don't know whether large-scale production will lead to higher revenue. This depends on elasticity of demand. Greater marginal productivity of factors? No, because greater productivity does not necessarily imply lower costs. Our factors of production, labor and capital, could well be producing a lot of output, but they might cost us a lot of money as well. So the more we produce, the more expensive it might become. So this is not the correct answer. C. D, greater output per unit of input. Again, similar answer, not correct, because even if you produce greater output per unit of input, so each worker which you hire generates more and more output, more and more goods and services. However, they might cost you quite a lot as well. So this will not necessarily lead to lower costs. Better organization of the factors of production. Again, it might improve your productivity, but not necessarily will lead to lower costs. The correct answer is B by definition. Economy of scale is a situation when our higher level of output will lead to lower costs per unit. Sometimes when company operates on a very large scale, it can actually lead to increasing costs of production. In other words, your long-run average cost curve can actually look like that. The more you produce, the more expensive it becomes per unit. If you operate on a small scale, you might be enjoying relatively low costs per unit, let's say 10 items. Well, if you produce 1 million items, you might have to spend more. let's say £100. Why is that? There are certain sources of diseconomies of scale. For example, these can arise due to managerial complexity, loss of control, and poor coordination. For example, if you're a very large company like Apple or Amazon, apparently its structure is increasingly complex. The more output you produce, the more activities you have to coordinate, the more difficult and complex it becomes. And sometimes management can lose control, which can lead to spiraling costs. This economy of scale can also arise due to alienation of staff, a situation when the company becomes that big that management doesn't care about workers' needs, and this can lead to loss of loyalty and poor productivity. It can arise due to industrial relations problems or major disruption to the production process if part of your very complex production chain suddenly fails or breaks down, due to rising marketing and distribution costs, and so on. In other words, in the long run, average cost curves can look differently. They can be declining, downward sloping, or they can go up. In other words, the long-run average cost curve can have a quite complex shape, which depends on a particular organization, on particular technological process they are using, and it is derived in a specific way, which we are going to cover in the next video.